That's one way that you could access it. I also put a YouTube. I'm just figuring this out. So the names of the buttons will most likely change. But I thought what I did, oh, here it is. SOWEGA virtual classes. So, and then YouTube in parentheses. So if you click on that one, then all of the SOWEGA classes are listed. Look at there, even this morning's class. How cool. Okay, so that's one way I have it on there.
That's a good idea, that one.
Huh?
That's a good idea. That one is a good idea there that you just did.
Now,
actually, I can bring you up 2 different places already on 2 different buttons.
Okay.
On mine.
Okay.
One is underneath exercise.
Uh-huh.
And it's got individual where you've done videos of the different warm-ups, the neck, the feet, blah, 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 and all that kind of stuff. And then the 6 moves and stuff like that. Now you're on that. That's underneath exercise. And you can also bring you up on, I think it's underneath website or something.
Yeah.
Websites.
Well, I have it up there under exercises too, where each button is a different exercise. So if you wanted to do just the spinal warm-ups, you click on that and it goes straight to that video.
Yeah, we already have that. Yeah.
Okay. Which way do you prefer it? You like it this way? Do you like it this way where you click on exercises and then you go to the individual buttons? Like exercise.
Yeah, but then that other one also, the way you said it was good too.
Where you go to the SOWEGA classes and then it brings up the listing of the classes.
It's different ones. It won't only be you, it'll be other ones, won't it?
No, it's just me. It's just my YouTube. I just called it SOWEGA Tai Chi classes.
Okay.
It's a work in progress. That's why I asked how y'all preferred it.
Well, we like I said, we already have you on all the different things where you've made the videos.
Okay. Well, these are my Claire's tablets that I'll be handing out. And so y'all are my experts because y'all have done it before. My people haven't. So I get to ask y'all what y'all like. This morning, somebody said they liked having Google as a button to be able to go to Google and Google things. Do y'all like that?
That's fine.
Okay.
I have you're asking the wrong person on that. I have a desktop computer.
I got you.
The only time I'm on this is when I do classes with you and some few other things. And when they have programs that I haven't already attended, then I go to that. But otherwise, I'm not using this because I've got my big computer, and it has a big monitor that I can see.
I got you. Very good. All right. Well, if there's anything y'all ever think of that y'all just really like, share that with me so I know. I've made notes on Senior Planet and the stretch and strength and possibly some shorter exercise programs to try to set up our Claris in a way that's going to be helpful. So thank y'all for your feedback. Well, let's get started. We're going to warm our little bodies up a little bit before we go and do our warm-up exercises of each of our joints. I always find it interesting as I go through the warm-up exercises and then do the Tai Chi moves, how similar some of those movements are. Particularly the neck exercise, how I'll be doing the neck warm-up. My neck will be a little bit stiff. And then the more I do that Tai Chi movement, specifically that single whip, when I'm doing that same neck movement, how my neck kind of loosens up. So I take that as a sign that if you're ever like kind of being stiff, kind of hurting, not really feeling like moving, if you'll just move a little bit and warm up those muscles, sometimes that pain and stiffness will loosen up a bit. So don't be easily discouraged, which I don't believe you are, but doing those movements after the warm-ups, it has been a good reminder for me to not give up when I'm feeling not my best. All right, let's get in a place where our body is supported with good posture and our weights on both legs. Starting with our neck movements, let's bring our hands up towards our chin and chest, push away, and follow those hands all the way down. Don't forget to breathe through your movements. Go side to side. Remember, the more we do this movement, the less stiff our neck will be. It's good to revisit this movement throughout the day and keep our neck nice and stretched. This is where I tend to hold tension. So find the place where maybe you hold tension and do these necks or do those stretches that go with that body part. I like to hear that there's a whole exercise program dedicated to stretching. Sometimes that is the key to mobility, is just keeping those joints nice and warm and stretched. Now let's roll our shoulders. Always roll forward first and then back. Like a massage you give yourself. Probably going a little bit bigger than necessary. I just feel that movement, feel all those muscles, just getting a nice little massage with my movement. Let's do those big circles, palms up as we bring our hands up and then turn those hands down. Inhale as we come up and exhale. Let's do one more. Let's go to our ball, separating the heavens and the earth, stretching that spine. One hand pushes up, the other pushes down. Come back to the ball and switch. Letting that spine breathe by giving it some room. Let's go back to our ball and take it for a ride, side to side. Just a short little trip from just above our knee to just above the other knee. Warming up that spine horizontally. Now for our hips, let's shift our weight to one leg, heel forward, hands back, pause in the middle, and toe back, hands forward. So this time I'm going to purposely stay on that one stable leg as I bring my heel forward and toe back. I'm going to do 3 in a row. I've been switching back and forth to each leg to give that stable leg a break But this right here actually works on that endurance and balance. Studies have shown, let's switch to the other side. Studies have shown that being able to hold your weight on one leg is an indicator of your fall risk. And so this is one perfect example where one leg is holding our weight while the other leg moves. So this is one way we can do this movement, or we can do like the other, the way we've been doing it, where we've shifted the weight, moved one leg, shifted the weight back, and moved the other leg back and forth to experience more weight shifting, which is also good. So switch it up and keep it interesting. The other one for our hip, we're shifting our weight to the side, shift, tapping out. You know what? I think I skipped this one this morning. Shift. I think I got so excited about talking about our weight on one leg. I had done the exercise program called Vivo, and it's an online exercise program. And the premise of all of their studies is the importance of being able to hold weight on one leg. So right here is another example, holding that weight on one leg while you tap out to the side. Now for our knees, loose fists down by our hips, shift, lift, and tap. Again, shift, lift, and tap. Shift, lift, and tap. Another example of holding that weight while we move the other leg. So after learning that with Vivo, I started realizing all the times in our Tai Chi class that we have our weight on one leg. And of course, Tai Chi is evidence-based, proven to help with falls prevention. So of course we would put our weight on one leg and within our movements. So I'm going to show you from that Vivo program. First of all, in the highest level of exercise in Vivo, had you holding your weight on one leg, pulling your other leg up, and doing arm curls and doing reciprocating, whatever these are called. And the level 3 of that movement is called tandem, where your feet are like you're on a tightrope. One foot is directly in front of the other. And so if you try to stand like this, that is challenging for your balance. And that's part of that Vivo program. Obviously, we don't do that in Tai Chi. We talk more about a stable stance where we widen our feet about hip width or shoulder width apart. But that just gives you an insight on another program that's for falls prevention, where there are some similarities and some differences, but all in the name of falls prevention. Next is for our, did we step forward and shift? We didn't do that, right? I think we just did the first one. I told you I get off and then I forgot to move it. That's what I did this morning. I know I forgot that. I'm not going to go back and watch, but shifting the weight, stepping, shifting weight forward, bringing it back side to side. So another example of holding weight on one leg, even for just a short period of time. So challenge yourself throughout the day to be a flamingo. Just don't put your head in the sand hunting shrimp or something. I don't know what flamingos do. I heard that's why they're pink, is from eating shrimp. Now for our ankles, shifting that weight. There's that one leg holding our weight again while we heel toe, heel toe. Bring it back, shift, heel toe, heel toe. Shift the weight, big toe, little toe, side to side. Shift the weight, little toe, big toe. All right, that gets us through our major joint stretches to prepare us for our Tai Chi. Now we're going to go through our basic Tai Chi. I'll talk us through it several times, and then I'm going to turn on some music and do no talking, and so we can experience Tai Chi, the mental quietness, the Jing, so we can experience that, which we can only experience if there's quiet. I got my music cue, but first I'm going to talk you through it. So our basic 6, thinking about body awareness. Of course, there's several principles, and that's what I find really cool about Tai Chi, is you can focus on the different principles for a different experience. But slow, smooth, and continuous is kind of my most favorite one, because I tend to go so fast about things. So it's a reminder to slow down. So let's go all the way through it, beginning with commence. And here we go. Begin. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Open and close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Open and close. Close it out. All right, let me back up a little bit. I don't know if y'all need to see my feet, but maybe in review, you like to see them. So I cut my own feet off. Let's do it again. And commence. Open and close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Open and close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Open and close. And close it out. So hopefully throughout that movement, you're just checking in with yourself to make sure you're breathing. Make sure, check in with your posture. How smooth are your movements? How about your weight transfer or your foot placement, which is part of that spatial awareness? You know, do you feel comfortable when you take that step, that you have space to be stable, or are your feet too close together? Just being constantly aware of how your body is moving and how your body is standing throughout the Tai Chi movements is how you get, you focus on those principles, and that's how you get all those benefits from Tai Chi. Usually what I'm thinking is, oh, I've somehow turned my shoulders up just a little, putting a little tension in there. Right now I'm kind of exaggerating, but I'll catch myself pulling my shoulders forward. So I'm having to relax those shoulders. So it's just awareness of how you're holding your body. Yes, while you're doing Tai Chi, but that will always translate out in the world so that you catch yourself if you're holding yourself in a bad way. That's not supportive. So let's do it again. And commence. Open and close. Single whip. Sometimes I think about that gentle resistance as if I were moving through water or very dense air, waving hands in clouds, just like I'm having to push a little bit harder to make that move. That's probably my last principle that I ever think about. But it is one nonetheless. Open and close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Open and close. And close it out. So in talking about the principles, you may think about different principles at different times. I know that time on that open and close, that's when I really focused on gentle resistance. So, you know, you might not think about it when you're doing waving hands and clouds. You may be worried more about spatial awareness and weight transfer. And then when you get to open and close, then you're more thinking about that gentle resistance. So you're not going to be able to think about all of them at all times, but just as long as you know what those principles are and follow them as necessary. So I'm going to turn on music, and then I'm not going to talk us through it. I'm just going to do the movements. All right. And begin. And again. Again. One more time, and then we'll go to our brush knee. And commence. Do you feel master zen now? See, it's so nice to just be quiet and just enjoy the movements of Tai Chi. And of course, I'm your instructor, and it's my job to talk and to teach you. But when we get to a point where we know our movements, we can together go through those. And it's just a nice experience of being quiet. And that's one of those benefits of Tai Chi that helps reduce stress and anxiety and depression. It can help release some of that tension just by relaxing. It can help bring our heart rate down. By learning to relax, it allows us to have a slower resting heart rate because we're not all juked up and stressed. So that's just one experience that we can have as we learn our movements and don't have to talk through them or explain them. So do you have any questions or comments before we go to our brush knee? Okay, I'm gonna put the music on pause. So brush knee, we've started this and we'll continue to get better at it. You know, doing the mirror image is a challenge for me, and the more I do it, the better I get at it. So we're coming with from the motion of open and close. So when we typically do our basic movements, you know how we close it out. Well, that's saying I'm done. I'm getting all this energy that I worked with in my Tai Chi, I'm putting it out back into the world. But if we're going to keep going, we stay here. We don't close it out. So we stay here at the end of that open and close. And so now we're ready for brush knee. Now I'm scooting over this way because in our advanced movements, the first direction is that we're going from facing forward to facing to the left. So we have to shift our weight and transfer our weight in a way that when we get done, we're ending facing to the left. And so the way that we do that is shift weight to that left leg, turn that right toe in. And when we turn that right toe in, the heel is on the floor and I'm pivoting on the heel. So my foot isn't off the ground. Shift and then turn that right toe in. I think of that toe as an arrow. So I'm pointing it that way because I'm trying to head that direction. So I think of that, that's how I remember which foot to move and which direction I'm going. Now my hands are going from here, and I always call it lay hands, to here. So my right hand extends out and forward, palm up. See, nice soft bend. I'm not stretched straight. That would be a lock joint or a harsh joint. And we want to keep our joints soft and open. So I'm going, extending my right hand out, palms up, and my left hand comes down and protects that elbow. So like I said, I tend to call it, oh my goodness, what do I call it? Lay hands. Lay hands like dominoes. I'm going lay hands. And that's the movement that we do when we turn that right foot in. So I'm here, I shift left, right toe in, lay hands. That's that first movement. My next movement, I'm going to shift the weight to my right foot. I'm going to separate my hands and bring my left foot back. I always call that a prepare step. So I'm preparing to step. I bring it back, then to step. But when I bring that left foot back to prepare, my hand is going from here to here. So my my right hand stays extended out in front of me, and my left hand comes down here by my hip, and my palm is down. So I go from here, lay hands, to separate hands. The footwork and the handwork together. Shift left, right toe in, lay hands. shift right, separate hands and prepare. The next step is going to be that left foot steps towards the left direction. There. Okay. So that's the beginning of brush knee. So here it is. Shift left, right toe in, lay hands. Shift right, bring that left foot in and separate. Step left. Now I'm going to shift my weight to my left foot. And when I shift the weight to that left foot, my right hand is going to come around and I call it throwing a pitch. And I think it's because I'm a baseball mom. And so that's just what I know is throwing a pitch. So my hand's going to be from here and then it's going to come around and boom, palm out. When I finish throwing that pitch, there's still this soft bend in my elbow. So I didn't just sling it out there and lock my joint. I didn't do that. I came around and extended my arm here. So see, soft bend, even in that I call and throw a pitch. And that throw a pitch happens when you shift the weight to the left foot. Let's start from the top. Shift left, right toe in, lay hands. Shift right, separate hands, left foot back. Step left, shift as I throw that pitch. And when I get to the end of that pitch, I follow step right. So basically my foot went from here and I picked it up and stepped it and it's behind my left foot, or it's not behind it because it's not tandem, but it's further back than my left foot. So and it's called a follow step. So it's stepping left, shift, follow step right. So you might think, you might have an inclination that whenever you step left, shift, and you go to step with your right foot, that you want to step out like this, because when you're walking, that's what you would do. You would bring that foot forward. And if you do that, it's probably just muscle memory of your legs. But that follow step is there. So when you follow step with that that right foot, you, in theory, in a perfect world, you don't put any weight on that follow step foot. That's going to be true throughout our advanced movements. When there's a follow step, no weight, it's because you're getting ready to take that foot that you follow stepped with and do something with it. And the something that you're going to do in this instance is step back. And that's part of the play the loot movement. Just to give you an idea. So when you follow step, you don't put any weight on that right foot. But let's just say, oh, you lost your balance. You need to put some weight on that right foot. That's okay. Because that's a safety thing. That's listening to your body. But just know, in order to do the next step, you have to give all the weight back to your left foot so that you can step back with your right. Another thing about that follow step foot is that the heel looks like it's all the way to the ground, but really there's just a tiny space there, only big enough for a piece of paper. That foot, that heel is down and grounded in that movement. There's no weight there. The heel's really not touching the ground. It just looks like it because it's so close. Now, if you find yourself keeping that heel up, then I felt my body immediately kind of go forward. And if I go forward, I'm falling. So that's another reason to keep that heel down, is because it grounds you in the movement and helps you be more stable. So that's an important instruction of that movement is, one, the follow step foot gets no weight unless it's necessary for safety, and it gets no weight because it's the next foot to move. The other thing about that follow step foot is that the heel is down almost to the ground. Only a paper would fit up under the heel of that shoe. You don't want it up, because you saw my body just now when I lifted that foot up, it immediately started going towards falling. So that follow step heel down grounds you in that movement. All right, let's just go over that movement several times, talking you through it from the open and close at the end of our basic 6. Shift left, right toe in, lay hands. Shift right, separate hands, bring that foot back. Step left, shift as I throw that pitch, and follow step right. So the way it looks from the front, so let me do it for starting this way, as if this were the front. I shift left, right toe in, lay hands. Shift right, bring that left foot back, separate hands. Step left, shift left as I throw that pitch, and follow step right. So that's what it looks like from the front. My right hand is out, palm out. My left hand is down by my hip, palm down. So it's engaged. It's not just hanging around down there, not doing anything. It's engaged, hand down. So that's what the end of that movement looks like. I have a staggered stance where my right foot is back further than my right foot. In a perfect world, all my weight is on this left foot, and I've just follow step with my with my right, allowing me to transition to the next move by stepping back. Okay, so that next move is play the lute. What questions do you have on brush knee? Are you very familiar with brush knee? So I can imagine that Robin was your instructor before, and she probably had a different way to explain this movement. We've learned that in our basic 6, how I have my Jennifer isms and she had her Robin isms, and we learned how to talk about them together. So I have y'all telling me, how does Robin say it? She may not say throw that pitch. I think that comes from me being a baseball mom. But that's what it feels like. It feels like I'm throwing a pitch as I go through that movement.
Let's move the mountain.
Push the tiger.
Move the mountain.
Push the tiger through the mountain, or push the tiger to the mountain, or push the mountain looks like this. Push.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's 2.
So you
I don't forgot.
At the end of parry, and punch, you block and close, and you push the tiger. I call it push the tiger up the mountain.
Yeah, I forget what she called it, but actually you're my 4th teacher.
I'm your 4th teacher. Okay, good. And we probably all talk about it differently. Because I know I was not taught lay hands, but that's what it feels like. It feels like dominoes, like I'm laying the dominoes down whenever I do that movement. So, but when I think about the advanced movements, I really think about the basis in a martial art. Because yes, our basic movements, they're nice. But when we get to the advanced movements, if we really were to speed it up, it looks like a fight. So you got somebody coming at you and you swat their leg away from kicking you, and then you punch them and you grab them and you hit them in the eye, you know? And so then you throw them and, you know, you're doing stuff, you're punching and you're reacting, you know, they're coming at you and you're coming at them. So the whole advanced movements, it really is like a fight. You're punching and then reacting. So if they're coming at you, you're coming back. And as soon as you come back, man, you're going to push them. And then, you know, you're done with it whenever you come back to open and close. But the advanced 6 movements really does feel like that fight that you're never going to have. Because you're reacting to, oops, I did it backwards. You're reacting to a person that's not really there. Here. Another thing about our advanced movements is I think of this as the outside, that's the front. And so that pitch that we throw is with this outside arm or this front arm. That punch is with that front arm when we get to peri peri punch. And then when we go and do the movements to the right, the pitch is with that front or the outside arm. And then the punch is with that front or outside arm. So a lot of it is practice and repetition, but those are kind of general rules that a follow step foot doesn't get weight because it's the next foot to move. That's a general rule. When you throw a pitch or when you throw a punch, it's always that outside or that front arm that does it. And so sometimes that can be helpful to kind of know your general rules. So let's go over it one more time with brush knee. Shift left, right toe in, lay hands. Shift right, separate, bring that left foot back. Step left, shift left as I throw that pitch and follow step right. So that's brush knee. Now we're heading in that direction for several moves. And that first one is play the loop, where we step back right. And when we step back right, our hands go from facing out and down to turn. So step back right, and I'll say turn hands. And so our hands are preparing to pass each other and play the loop. So that's why we turn our hands. We go from here, step back, turn hands, and then we shift to that back foot. We shift to that right leg, shift as our hands pass, and when we get to that elbow, follow step left. So again, there's that follow step where whenever we step back, flip hands, shift as those hands pass. When I get to the elbow, follow step. So remember, follow step has no weight on it. Follow step's heel is almost to the ground. Only a paper could fit under that heel. So those are our first 2 movements of advanced. Are we good on the language? I'm speaking a language y'all can follow. So if you get a chance to watch in the video brush knee, I gave it a go. I made some little blunders, and that's okay. but if you will watch it and see what you think. See if it's a helpful video, or if you think I should do it in a different way, or you don't like a certain thing. I rely on y'all to give me feedback. So this is brand new to me, is diving into the advanced movements in virtual land. It makes me a little nervous because they are advanced movements, but I'm willing to try it. So y'all help me and give me feedback. Let's gather tension. We don't like that. Let's release it. Gather and release. Being aware of tension that we're holding so that we can let it go can save ourselves some pain. And release. Let's inhale and exhale as we push our hands down. Then we take our right fist that represents our strength. Our left hand, our fingers together, represents our friendship. Our thumb end represents our humility. So we have strength, friendship, and humility, and we put those together, and in mutual respect, we say namaste.
Namaste.
So again, thank y'all for your feedback. That's how we get better. I'm happy to do any which way that you think will help you best. But I don't know unless you tell me. I will see y'all next week. It will be November, y'all. It'll be November. That's just hard for me to grasp that we are getting through this year so quickly. But if you get a chance, practice, check out that new tutorial video, and then you can let me know next week, if not before. Okay.
How many more classes do we have?
Well, this is the 10th class, so there will be 6 more for this session. So hopefully we'll get really into our advanced movements, which will really take us into that new series starting in January, where the afternoon class is more about our advanced movements. We could do that more today because you two are not newbies, whereas Mr. James, he's a newbie. So, you know, I try to cater the class to the people that are in it. So we can kind of spend a lot more time doing quiet Tai Chi, whereas somebody brand new to it may not be able to do that. So we'll do the best we can. I appreciate y'all's help, and I hope y'all have a wonderful week.
You too.
All right, love y'all.
And you too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.